What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Greg Kampe Show. We are live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. Of course, he is the coach, Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us wherever you're listening on the Odyssey app, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're here in the house. But it's the holiday season, Camp. How are you?
Got a little bit of a cold. My granddaughter took her to the Lions game. Yeah, I wouldn't push away, too. It's just starting to show up. But they called me afterwards the game that evening and said she's got a fever, and you better be ready. And they were right, because it's starting to come.
There it is.
But, boy, did she like the brownies in the suite I was in. I'll tell you. And there were like 6 other girls there. She's 4, and there were like 6 other girls, 4 to 6. And she had 2 sleepovers set up already. And
oh, no.
She had the time of her life.
Yeah.
Didn't understand why I was so upset walking out.
The brownies were still good, though. That's all. That was all that mattered to her, Camp, no doubt. But yeah, no, it's good to have everybody here with us as always out here. Happy holiday season to everybody that is out here for sure. But Camp, obviously, the big news, huge crowd, LCA pushing 16,000 in that building. It was a battle. It was a battle that came all the way down to the end. And the bottom line, Camp, and I've said this a lot, all the games that we played, be it Purdue, be it UCF, be it Michigan State, whoever, it was a good college basketball game, Camp.
Yeah, we need to in those, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And, I don't, years ago we were a cute little story, but I don't believe we are anymore. I think our fans and I think everybody sitting here went there Saturday expecting that we could win. And we played like we could, and it was a hell of a game, but we didn't finish it. And so it was disappointing to me. And like I told them afterwards, you'll get another chance if we can win the conference tournament and get to the NCAA tournament. You'll get another chance in a game like this, and we're sure ready to win one. Losing the scene has really hurt us.
Yes.
But it is what it is. We've got to play the rest of the year without them. And I think that we're learning. I thought defensively, the growth, it's been 2 weeks since we've had a radio show, and I think the growth of our team defensively since that last radio show, anybody watching can see that, we're still making a few mistakes, and we made a couple critical errors in the last 7 minutes. Excuse me. So you put that thing in when you have so many new players, and you go and then you play games and then you make adjustments and you get better and you learn things and they see it, and so it doesn't happen again. And we got to the post double finally, and I thought the post double really hurt them. Where we take our nail guy, a middle guy in the zone, and he doubles the post on the pass. And then there are players that you don't want to double on the pass because they're such good passers, and most of the guys, when you play the Power 5 teams, they'll be 7 feet, 6'10", so they'll get pass over you. Or you double after they take a dribble and they put their head down, they start to make their move, and then it's got to be a quick double. And all those things you have to do to learn how to do. You can look at it on film, you can talk to them, you can walk it through it at practice. We can't practice. What's the kid? Cole
Jackson Kohler, yeah, Carson Cooper, whoever,
we can't simulate that in practice, so you've got to do it a few times in a game. And I thought, a couple of years ago in the North Carolina State game, in the first half, that big kid hurt us. But in the second half, we got, we could have won the game, and the post double really, really was good. And this is going to help us later in the year. Teams in our league that have some good big players, so we'll be able to, now that we know and understand it, you just see the progression of the defense getting better and better, and that's really a good sign. Because I was, as we talked 2 weeks ago, I was concerned about us defensively, playing at the pace we're playing. But we still played very fast, and we were able to really, really play good defense. Michigan State got 15 offensive rebounds. But that's what they do. I mean, they do that to
everybody. Yeah,
they do that to UCLA. They do that to UConn. They do that to North Carolina. Duke. Did that. So we knew going in there we're going to get some of those. We just had to limit it. And I thought we did a really good job. I mean, there were 2 or 3 they got that the ball was in our hands, and it was a very physical game. A lot of contact.
That's one way to say it. Yeah,
a lot of contact that normally in a game in our league won't be called, or will be called. It wasn't called in the game. And so, getting our hands on the ball, we did a lot of really good things in the game. We had an opportunity to win the game. Personally, I think what hurt us was the end of the first half when we got the lead up to 7, and we had player make a. One of the things when you have really good players is they've got to learn that there's a lot of really other good players around them, and they don't have to be the one to make the touchdown. They can be like in hockey where you pass it to this guy and then this guy gets the assist. And in hockey, they all get assists, right? I wish we had that in basketball too, because they want to make that play. And we had a player throw the ball, a cross-court pass that we're up 7 with the ball with about 6 or 7 minutes going to half, I think it was. And, it was just an ill-advised pass that was stolen and went down. They made their 3, and they had not been able to make 3s, right? And they get that walk-in 3, look in transition, and next thing you knew, the game was tied. And then a player at the end of in the last 7 seconds of the half, we didn't come out of the timeout and do what we wanted to do. We were going to double. We knew Fears was going to get the ball, and Fears was going to make a play, And we wanted to double him, and for some reason, the player that was supposed to double him hesitated, and it gave him a lane, and they made a 3-point play. In the Purdue game, the same thing happened, right? We were up 3 at Purdue, and we were supposed to foul, and we fouled, but not hard enough, and they made a 3 to tie it. And then they've got all the momentum to start the second half. Same thing happened here. It's tied. We just made 2 free throws to tie it. We go in at halftime tied, and instead they get an and 1. We're down 3. They got the ball. Boom. So, those are the little things that keep you from winning those games.
And the middle 4, I guess you can call it. I know in football they call it the middle 8, but I'm kind of assigning the middle 4, the 2 minutes before the end of the half, and then the 2 minutes outside of the half. And that is, can't look, it counts because it's a 40-minute game. They do all count. But with that being said, the way the game flipped in those middle 4, because they were able to get the lead going into half, and then out of the locker room they were able to stretch it to 7 or 8 points.
Right.
And they had an answer. Every time we got it to 6, we couldn't break that level. We couldn't get it down to one possession game.
Someone had an answer.
I know.
Right.
I'm not going to do that to you, Camp. So I'm not going to do that to you. But it is though, Camp. And we see this play out in basketball games across the country. We see it play out in the NBA always, man. Like the middle 4 minutes, Camp. What is it about that?
Well, we try and in our coaching and in timeouts. If you ever wonder what's being said in a timeout, there's only so much that can be said, right? But we really preach in timeouts winning the 4 minutes. There's immediate timeout every 4 minutes. So we want to segment the game into those 4 minutes. And a lot of times we just say, we need 3 stops in a row. We need to win these 4 minutes. We win these 4 minutes and we're in position. Then and we get down. I think with at the under 4, 3:29. I think the timeout was. Smitty said to the guys, we've struggled the last 3 minutes against the Power 5. So let's finish this half. I think we were up 2 at the time, and if that last play doesn't happen, then we did a good job. We finished it tied and everything's great. But those momentum swings, and it's the same way for us. I can't remember what game. Maybe it was the Fort Wayne game. We finished the half. I think we made a 3 or something happened right at the end of the half, and we go running into the locker room, and the whole vibe in the locker room at halftime is completely different when you finish a half strong. But we say the most important part of the game, obviously, is the last 4 minutes. The next most important part of the game for me is the last 4 minutes of the first half. And then the third most important is the first 4 minutes of the second half.
Yeah.
Those 3 segments, I think, really, really have a lot to do with how games play out. If you're up 12, you get it to 18. That makes the second half a lot easier, right? Or if you're up 12 at halftime and you come out and get it to 18. If you're up 12 and they come out and score the first 6 points of the second half. For me, the beginning of the game is never really important. And that's probably not a good word, important, because everything's important. Every possession is important. But there's, I hate getting ahead 8-0. That's almost like the
worst lead in sports, right?
It really is, because you feel in the arena that everybody, we got to go on tonight. We're going to kill them, and our players, they're all, because there's usually a timeout and they come running in, and
Yeah, man, there's 38 minutes to go, and we act like we just won.
And it's 3 possessions, and that's it. Right.
It's so, sorry, so many times, I would rather be behind against a good team. I'd rather be behind 8-0 than be ahead 8-0 to start a game. You get a different vibe, and you can really, get hold of them and get their interest and get their attention when games start like that. Now that doesn't mean I don't want to be ahead 8-0. All right, but I just don't like the vibe of that usually.
Over thousands of games, you've seen it play out.
Yeah, and if you're playing a team, that you're just way better, then sure, you want to start from the beginning and go. But in the next 18 league games, there might be 1 or 2 that we're way better than, and that's only when we're at home. That we should be way better than. Every one of these things is going to be a dogfight. The league is the best I've seen it in the 13 years or so that we've been in the league. This is top. There's no awful team this year, and we've had some really bad teams. A team you look at, you got to get 2 wins. Everybody says
you will probably, that's the way it used to be, right?
Right. I remember in the Summit League, we went to Kansas City and we were ahead at Kansas City 50-13 at halftime. That doesn't happen often, but there was like that. You knew there were some teams. We had a team go 1-31. We had 2 years last. I think we had a team 3 and we almost lost at their place to them, but they were 3-28 or something like. So that's not going to happen this year. IU Indy, who everybody thinks might be, the bottom team in the league, they went to Eastern Michigan and won. We went to Eastern Michigan and got beat, right? Yeah. And they might be 0-3 now, but they're not going. They're probably going to decide who wins the league championship because they're going to beat some good team in their building this year, and they're going to win 6, 8, and maybe more than that games.
Camp, I wanted to ask you something, just kind of bring people behind the scenes a little bit. I don't remember if this got out to the media or whatever. In our locker room before the game, we were doing, you and I were doing a little something for the pregame show where we were talking about the series and everything like that. We walk out of the door there, and Tarek Skubel's in our locker room, and he's waiting. He's over there. He's talking to Colin and stuff like that. And he said, "I'm hoping to get a picture with Coach in the sweater." Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by that when you walk out and there's Tarek Skubel and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to see Coach. I want to get a picture with Coach"?
Well, a couple of years ago, I threw out the first pitch of a Tiger game after the Kentucky win, and he caught it. He wasn't pitching that day, so I don't think they thought they needed a catcher with me throwing it, right? And so he came out, and Trey and Golke and I all threw him, so there were 3 guys, and he comes walking up to me with the ball, and we talked a little bit. He started with, "You ruined my bracket," and I said, "Well, I ruined mine too because I had Kentucky going to the final." And he looked at me and he goes, "You want me to sign the ball?" And I go, "No, not unless you win the Cy Young, then I'll take it." And he looked at me and go, "Well, I'm not going to promise you that." And I go, "No, I'm kidding. I'll take it." So when he was in the locker room, I asked him if he remembered that. And he said he did. And he goes, "I can sign it for you now." And I go, No, I like the one that you gave me before. And then I looked at him and I said, "So tell me the truth. You leaving or staying?" And
stone face asked him that question. Yeah.
So it was, and he looked at me and said, "Well, I'm on contract through this year." Yeah, okay, we all know that, but we heard about L.A. and we heard about after that, and then he goes, "I'm on contract through this year." I go, "Well, we all think we can win the World Series this year, but we need you." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to be here. I'm on board for that." So we'll see. But was I surprised by it? Yeah, I didn't know he was going to be there. If Joe Blow had come into my locker room and said they're here to see me, I would be surprised that they got by security and got into my locker room. So, I'm surprised anybody's going to be in there. But I guess, I think he's doing a real smart thing. He went to our game. He went to the Red Wings game. He went to the Pistons game. Then he was on the field for the Lions game Sunday, too. So he's trying to let everybody know, because a lot of people were concerned about him. So,
well, he just said he likes games, too.
He's a
sports fan. Yeah, he's a sports fan.
28, 29 years old. He's a sports fan. Like I said, we talked about the tournament. He had watched the game, back 2 years ago and that. And, hey, Oakland is part of the fabric of Detroit, Michigan now. I mean, that's one of the things I think our program's done over the last 2 decades is there's 16,000 people there. Michigan, who'd they play there? Wake Forest? Michigan Wake Forest didn't have 16,000 people.
Not close.
Not
even
8
close.
or 9, right?
Right.
And our fans show up for those games. There were a lot of Oakland. There was a lot of black and gold in that arena Saturday, and we've won our share of games, and people know, we're not a cute little story anymore. I think we're very well respected, and I was not surprised that he would come to that game. Now, I would bet that he went into Izzo's locker room first before he came to mine.
Well, he knew that you were doing. We were doing stuff for the highest rated.
Radio,
we were
right,
doing the stuff for the highest rated pregame show in college basketball. So that, he knew that. He's a sports guy. He understood that. No, but Camp, last thing before we go to the break and get Baru Neva-Larua over here and talk with Rue. Backing up to that, and a big shout out to all the Oakland fans that came out to that game, and like Camp said, there were thousands of us out there. So big shout out to all you guys that made your way out to LCA. But Camp, it goes back to that. For Oakland to have a seat at what was a pretty incredible 24 or 36 hours in Detroit sports with us in Michigan State, and you said almost 17,000 people there on a night where the Pistons had a home game. The first place Detroit Pistons had a home game, and then the Red Wings at noon, and then the Lions at 4 with the national TV and all that stuff, Camp. We were there. We were there. We were a part of it, and our fans rolled out, and everybody showed out and everything like that. Result aside, Camp, that was a very, very great weekend, great day for Oakland basketball, aside from the result, Camp. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but
I know.
Tell me when we don't compete in that game.
Right.
We knew a real good chance to win it. We didn't play our A game. Michigan State surely didn't play their A game either. It was just a really good college basketball game, which we played a lot of those. And we got a really good team, and we have a chance to have a special year. We got a lot of work to do, and we got things to do, to finish this and to show this. But anybody that's watched let me say this, and I told my team this after the game. There aren't 5 non-blue bloods in this country. And I'm not, when I say blue blood, I'm talking, the Michigan States, the UConns, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys, the Arizonas. All right. So there's about 8 to 10 to 15 of those teams. But if you take everybody else, I'm talking Power 5 teams too. If you take everybody else and played our schedule, I guarantee you there aren't 5 to 6 to 10 teams in this country that would be 6 and 7 right now. I mean, we've played 3 home games. Northern Kentucky's played 9.
Right.
Most teams in our league have played 5 to 7 home games. We've played 3. We're 6 and 7 against the hardest schedule in the country. And so you can take away, well, you're 6 and 7, or you can be smart and look at it and say, wow, that you guys got a really good team. And we do. And the thing I like about this team, Neil, is I really like them. I like them. I like who they are. I like what they stand for. I like how we compete. We got issues like every team's got issues. We got some guys have got to understand and learn that, I don't have to win the game. This guy can win the game. I just got to make good plays, right? But that's on me, and that's the teaching and what I allow and what I accept, and my coaching staff of shaping and growing a team so that we would get to March, that all we think we are, and I like our chances because our kids are so good. I got really good kids.
All right, let's do this. Let's take the first break. When we come back, Baru Neva-Larua will sit down with us. You are listening to the Greg Kampe Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
We gon' push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
Back at it, the Greg Kampe Show live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. My name is Neil Rule, the voice of the Golden Grizzlies. Of course, he is a coach. Greg Kampe, Bobby Ellman back in our Odyssey studios. Big props to Bobby, by the way, for the holiday bumper music. That's pretty high level. Right now, as promised, we are joined by Baru Neva-Larua, of course, Golden Grizzlies forward slash has a lot of bounce slash athlete, all of those things. But Baru, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Happy to be rapping with you a little bit and talking about it. And I'll say this: you're from Australia. For the people that don't know, they'll be able to tell. Kind of as you talk. We had when we flew our last charter flight, the guy that was organizing everything, he was from Australia too, right?
Yeah. It was kind of weird. It's always funny. Whenever I'm anywhere internationally, especially the States, when you hear an Australian person talk, you pick the accent right away. So you walk in the door, he was like, "Good afternoon, everyone." And I was like, "Whoa."
Now, are you able to tell like where in Australia he's from by that? No?
Not always. It's like there are regional accents, but they're always sort of within the city you're from. Like if he was from Sydney, I could pick where he's from easily, but I think he was from like Brisbane or Adelaide or something.
Okay.
But where, I wouldn't be able to tell.
All right. So, Baru, obviously you heard Kampe and I talking about the Michigan State game, and for you, just what was kind of your takeaway from that basketball game?
Basically, the same takeaway that Kampe had. We're a very good basketball team. We're super deep. Obviously, we've had some injury struggles this year. Mike was out for the first couple of games, and then now we've lost Nassim for the season, and Zair's kind of stepped in and filled that role seamlessly and been great for us. And the fact that we were able to go toe-to-toe with another team that's top 10 ranked in the country is always a good sign.
The bigs in particular that they had, because that's your battle, right? You're locked up, and you and Mike, and obviously IG also. When you look at what they had, and Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler and Cohen Carr as well, you saw it obviously against Michigan. They got a 7'3" guy in Mara. Just what is that like to know, just from a size perspective? Do you have to reach into your bag of tricks? Is there anything that you can do? Like, how do you combat that? I guess is how I'm asking you in a long way.
It's the same with any player that's bigger than you. Really, you got to create the contact first and get them moving backwards, because if they're straight up or if they can get over you, you've got no shot basically. You always want to sort of use your body and your momentum to put them on the back foot and give you a better chance of scoring. Now, it's not always going to work. If I don't know if it was Victor Wembanyama out there, I don't think it matters how hard you hit him. If you're not, relatively the same size, is probably still going to block your shot. But the bigs that these high major schools have, for the most part, aren't so much bigger than us that it's impossible to get it over them without a good bump. But yeah, that's what I'd say works the best. You just need to create the contact first and get them playing off their back foot.
All right, I have an Ask Baru question here on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. Giovanni Mosheri says, it's kind of along the same lines, but he says, what are some of the rebounding takeaways you have after playing teams like Michigan State? Is there anything that you can apply to league play as far as strategy or technique?
The way Michigan State rebounds, it's sort of
on another planet, or
yeah, they kind of just send everybody to the glass as hard as they can, except for Fears, who sort of hangs around the top of the key area for anything that bounces out far away from the basket. Otherwise, they've got really big, strong, physical dudes who are just trying to wedge you before the shot even goes up. If you watch it on film, they know when their guards are going to shoot the ball, and as soon as they get into that motion, they just start wedging you under the basket before you even get a chance to turn around and look for them. So I guess that is one thing you could take away, just doing your work early so you don't have to work as hard later.
The timing aspect of it, I guess you could say. No, it is. Because, like, to the common people, when they see, a team get 15 offensive rebounds, they're like, well, why don't they just box out? But as you said, there is a technique, and it's something I can't really see either, because I'm watching the ball all the time when I do my job, and then I look down and I see 4 guys in the paint, like literally 4 guys in the paint. That is odd. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah, it's really just something that they do. Houston did it as well, and I think that's just the culture of those 2 programs and those 2 coaches. They kind of harp on about being gritty and being tough, and I've heard that Houston has practices where they just throw a bubble over the rim and you don't get to score. It's just whoever grabs the most rebounds wins the scrimmage. So, with teams like that, obviously, with players like that are going to have that culture imbued in them, it's almost sort of second nature for them. But outside of the just playing hard aspect, they do a lot of smart things. It's a lot of hand fighting. It's sort of like, I don't know if anyone who watches football, it's like being at the line of scrimmage, you throw an arm out and they're just smacking it away and getting position and sealing you off. So, yeah. Talking
to my guy, Baru Neva-Larua. All right, Baru, your time here at Oakland, it's coming to a close. Like it's winding down. And I've asked Kampe this multiple times. He never really gives me an answer. I'm sure you probably will be along the same lines, but it's a question I like to put out there. As you look back on your time here at Oakland and the things that you accomplished, and because I've never even articulated it in this way when I'm doing the broadcast or anything like that, like in terms of accomplishment and the heights that this program has gotten to while you've been here. I mean, it's some of the highest heights that this great program has ever been to. But you ever think about all that? Like your impact on Oakland basketball? Or is that something you'll do when you get old and you're a grandpa like Kampe?
Yeah, maybe when I'm finished in my time here. It's not really something I've thought about all too much. I've definitely thought about, the experiences of being there at the time, but I've never thought about how I affected anything. It's always just more so been about the experience for me and just being able to go out there with my guys and play basketball and enjoying the process of it all. I guess like the accolades and all the accomplishments and everything are kind of just the result of what we do when we're not playing the game. So it's never really been a thing where I've been like, oh, I've done such and such that's helped us win whatever. Like, I don't really care about any of that as long as we get to where we want to go and the experience is good and the guys have a good time and we create some memories, and it's fine by me.
Baru, there's a lot of talk in college basketball these days about, players moving around and all the player movement that happens. I'm sure that you probably, my guess would be that you had opportunities to where you could have gone somewhere else. You're here at Oakland. What was that process like? What was that thought process, I guess, like for you? In a day and age where a lot of people leave, you've stayed here. Why is that?
Yeah, I definitely was thinking about it towards the end of the season after we had finished up. We lost to RMU. It was something that crossed my mind about just my future and where I thought I was going to be heading. But ultimately, like, aside from the money, it's just Oakland sort of become home for me now. I've been here 3 years. I'm already very, very far away from where I grew up. So, having a big change like that is something that I've never really liked all too much, to be honest. So I always wanted to stay somewhere I felt the people loved me, somewhere that I love, somewhere I could just walk into the locker room and, already have the respect of the staff and the guys and everything like that. So for me, it was just like a open and shut thing. Like, thought about it. I was like, nah, I can't leave this place.
There you have it. Well, we're glad you didn't, Baru, and we're glad that you're here. And it's time to get conference play going and make another run at this. You ready to rock for Horizon League play?
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. No, Baru, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Always good to rap with you, man. Baru Neva-Larua, everyone. We'll be back with more of the Greg Kampe Show live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
We gon' push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we rise, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
Welcome back to the Greg Kampe Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. He is the coach, Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rolfe. If you want to get involved with the show, you can go to X, go to Twitter, put the hashtag AskKampe on there. I get those tweets. We got a stack of them, as we usually do, to get to. Although, Camp, I do want to tell you this right here. My son just sent me this, as a matter of fact. Ben Simmons, you know Ben Simmons in the NBA?
Yes.
There was a chance we could have played him when he was at LSU in the NIT, where we beat Clemson that year. He's putting the NBA on hold to pursue professional fishing. Don't tell Isaac that, all right?
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah. Nobody. If you guys see IG, don't tell him that, okay? Don't tell him there's professional fishing and all that kind of stuff. So, Camp, you ready? You ready to answer some questions?
Son?
What's that?
How old's your son?
He just turned 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he's.
I'm glad he's that old. If he was like 6 or something and was sending you that, I'd be concerned.
No. Well, he's a big bass fishing. He likes it a lot too. Yeah. So not professional or anything like that. He just enjoys it. It's something we do. So my middle son plays golf. I do golf with him. I do bass fishing with my oldest son. So that's the way it works. And then coach my daughter's teams and run your offense at 10-year-old rec league. So
I need to come see that.
Yeah. it's fun. It's fun, Camp, because it works. All right, let's get to Twitter with the hashtag AskKampe. Let me fire these things up. Where were we? We are right here. All right. Gio Mosheri also asked Kampe. Izzo mentioned you can't invite coaches around anymore because they want to steal your players. What can be done to change the coaching culture to be more collaborative? How can coaches help coaches again?
I just don't think that's going to happen. The climate has been set, and a lot of the guys in my generation have gotten, our Izzo and my generation have gotten out, and they've gotten out because of what he talked about after the game. It's just, you talk to Jay Wright. He's really the guy to talk to because he's very vocal about it. And he left right in the heart of being, considered top 1, 2, 3 coaches in the country. He just didn't want to deal with that. And, I get on the one thing about playing Power 5 schools is your bus goes underneath into the stadium. Well, at Houston it didn't. It was outside, right? So we walk out, and I'm walking up to the bus, and Isaac's got like 5 people around him, right? And it's their agents, and they're telling him how much money they can get him next year and how they want to sign him. And, there's just no guardrails. There's no rules. The agents don't even have to be certified. I could go be an agent next year. And I'd make a hell of a lot more money doing that than I do coaching this team. It's crazy because they take 20%.
Yeah.
You get 5 guys that get $1 million deals. You make $1 million. It's pretty good math, huh?
That is pretty good math.
Yeah.
No, but Camp, I think that's like the other side that I'm sure like the common sports fan doesn't realize. Like in the NFL, all that stuff's regulated. Agents,
Right.
agents and
And
how they
it's
are,
5,
and the money they make.
4%, 5%.
Yeah, it's capped. Like,
but they also make off, like if LeBron does a commercial, the agent sets that commercial up, he gets 4% or whatever.
Right.
You know, so it's a business too. But for us, it's, you know, it's. I mean, I'll give you an example. We had a player last year. And his dad called me and said, you know, hey, I got this call from this agent. He's telling me that he can help the kid, the player on our team, make some money in NIL next year. And he'll do things and help him. And he goes, what do you think of that? And I said, well, how much money do you think your son can make in the NIL thing? And he goes, well, he's not going to make very much right now. And I go, exactly. What he's doing is he's getting you so that next year, if he has a good year, he will be in your ear to, well, if he goes in the transfer portal, I can get him X amount of money. You know, it's just, it's crazy. And it's, you know, and to think that if you think our players don't know what people are making and what player on Milwaukee has got in there and made this money here and Alan McCabe made this much here and, you know, but the truth of the matter is, go look at what's happening to those kids. Go look at what's happening to those kids that have taken the one-time lump sum that is not life-changing money. It seems life-changing because it, all right, let's say, Neil, somebody comes to you and says, all right, I'm your agent, and I'm going to get you $1 million to go play at XU, right?
Okay.
And Kampe's only going to give you $100,000. Kampe doesn't understand your worth, and you go take that $1 million. Do you know how much of the $1 million you actually get?
Not $1 million.
Well, it turns out to be $400,000.
Right.
Because 40% goes to the government, and 20% goes to the agent. So you make $400,000. Your value for your professional career either goes completely away or it goes down a ton. And in 3 years, you're left with a used Escalade, basically.
Yeah.
Because that you buy your Escalade, you give your mom something, you do this, and you're the big man. Everybody knows you're making that kind of money, so you're going to pay for the beers at the, you know, you're going to buy people are going to be around you. And in 2-3 years, your pro career is nothing, and you got a used Escalade. And that's what Izzo and some of the really big talking people are fighting, is that everybody says, well, we got to take care of the kids. Well, no, you're hurting the kids. You're hurting the kids. And most of these guys, you know, aren't playing. You know, they go to that next thing, and they early in the year they play 27, 28 minutes, and then they're playing 6. They're playing 10.
Well, Camp, that's when you go to me and say that, though, I'm a 41% three-point shooter. So you're going to let me shoot 18 three-pointers per game. You're going to craft the offense around what I'm able to do shooting the basketball, or if I'm a point guard, what I'm able to do with the ball in my hand. And you're going to play me 38 minutes and be upset you didn't play me 40.
Yeah.
You know, but that doesn't get taken into account, does it?
But they don't listen to me, because they're being told by all these people, he doesn't have your best interest in mind. He's got Oakland's best interest in mind. And the truth of the matter is, I have the kids. I care about my kids, and I tell them the truth. And if I believe they should go, I tell them they should go. And if I believe they should stay, I tell them they should stay, and I tell them why. But when they go tell whoever that, they're saying no. And it's been that way for years. I mean, I didn't think Kay Felder should have left. And he and I had a tough relationship for a couple of years.
Yeah.
After he left here. He got drafted. You know, he told me, and he had people in my office said he was going to get drafted in the first round. I had one guy in the NBA tell me that they would take him in the first round, and they didn't have a first-round pick. And it was Cleveland, because Brandon Weems worked for me.
Yeah.
So I called him, Brandon, we take him. We don't have a pick, though. Now, they bought him with the 52nd. They went to Atlanta, and bought the pick to get Kay. All right. If they don't do that, he wouldn't have gotten drafted.
Right.
And I think he lost a ton of money. Now, it worked out good because he had a good long career, and he's made a ton of money.
And played in China, and he was a big star.
He played 4 years in the NBA. He's gone and that. But he didn't get first-round money, guaranteed money, like I believe if he had come back. And I told him these things, but he had other people telling him that. And it got – and I learned from that one, too, because it got a little contentious because – his mother wanted him to graduate, and I looked at him and I said, "You will never graduate if you leave here," because he was 32 hours short. Mm-hmm. And he put that in my face and came back and did it. So I'm happy. but he's up on the wall now, too, because he did. He wasn't going to go on that wall until he did it. And I told him that day, you'll never be up there. And I don't think anybody believed that. They thought, again, I was just saying stuff. And I've learned to be better than that in those meetings. And, I sometimes I speak a little too harshly and too much from my heart when it comes to that because I care a lot about that, and I wanted him to have success. And he did. He doesn't really need to work the rest of his life. And they're very, I've had 3 or 4 players in my 42 years that when basketball was over, Kendrick Nunn's never going to have to work again. But the other 200 players all had to work again. So I had to make sure that they got their degrees. I had to make sure that they were viable and could go out in the real world. And a used Escalade's not going to get you anywhere when you're 25 years old. And so I fight that battle, and I'm never probably ever going to win that battle, but I'm going to keep fighting it.
All right, Camp, we are going to have to pick up the pace with the questions. That was one for about 9 minutes. We're gonna have to move a little quicker, okay?
Well, ask easier questions now.
All right, I will. Gideon Beers was here the real Gideon Beers. I think Griff is in the house, right? Griff is out there. All right, so there we go. His brother Griff is here. Gideon says, "How have you determined that Hogue is at the hoop in the zone over Baru and IG?"
It is the single easiest spot to learn of every other wing. If you watch us, and many of you have watched many times, you'll see he'll start at a wing, but all of a sudden he's at the top, and then he's at the nail, and then he's back at the wing. The hoop man's always at the hoop or the corner. And because Mike missed so much time, pre-injury, we weren't sure who was going to play the nail or the hoop until we got games. I always know I can trust Baru there. All right? I always know I can trust Baru there. He's been here 3 years. He knows it. And if we have to be physical, I'll have him there. But I'd rather not have him there. I think he rebounds better when he's coming in on the run. I think he's longer and he's smarter and he knows the zone and he can get passing lanes and he can cause more disruption from out in those areas. But like Lamar, they were out physicaling us, and Mike was just coming back and he was hurt. And Isaac right now Isaac is a tremendous basketball player. But what he has to get better at is he has to get bigger and stronger because he's in a real weightlifting program now. He's playing Houston and Michigan and Michigan State, and he's learning that, okay, I got to get bigger and stronger. He wasn't quite ready for that physicality. So I do play Isaac in there some, but if it's real, like the Michigan State game, Isaac's going to foul out. And we need Isaac. We don't need him fouling out. Baru is smart enough to know how to play that position, not commit, fouls, understand the game, and be physical and defend better in there. So all that goes into every possession. And, if we're going to double the post from the nail, like we did against Michigan State, we want a big guy at the nail. We don't want Brody Robinson being the guy doubling, right?
Right.
So it all plays out based on personnel and based on each game. And I think one thing, if you sat down with I'm going long again, but if you sat down with our players, they would tell you that every game's an entity in itself. As we prep for this game, everything in the zone could change. And that's why it takes so long to learn it. Because there's this base that you learn in the summer, and then you get against teams, and everybody does something different, and you got to change and move on the fly. And until you've done it and made mistakes, you're not going to be good at it. And you can see us. I mean, we're just growing and growing and growing every time we play.
All right, Camp, I'm going to take the break right now, and then we're going to do the other half. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay, all right, that's what we're going to do. All right, we will take the break. When we come back, more Ask Campy on Twitter with the hashtag Ask Campy. We'll take a look to Horizon League play as well. A lot to do, not a lot of time to do it. This is the Greg Campy Show. We're live at Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Because every athlete deserves to be treated like a pro. Henry Ford Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to the Greg Kampe Show, live at Patti Finnegan's over on the golf course at Oakland University. Come stop by, check this place out. Elite menu, great bar as well. Just a cool place to be. People up at the bar right now getting ready to watch a Red Wings and Stars game. And come on up.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight. We actually talked about canceling tonight, but we decided to go with it, and I'm glad we did because we got not the normal crowd, but all the people that are always here. And
everyone that's participating on social media as well. Matt, who enjoys Horizon League basketball, asked Kampe, Camp, your kids are grown, and now that you're in full Grandpa Camp mode, but when they were growing up, what traditions did you have? Was it tough to balance D1 head coach and especially being a dad on Christmas?
Yeah, I didn't. We did everything on the 24th of Christmas, and then on Christmas Day, their mother would take them to her family in Ohio, and I would stay. And that went that way for, forever, all through their growth. I have a great job, and in the summer it's the best job in the world. But for those 6 months or 7 months, you work every day. I mean, we work Christmas, we work Thanksgiving,
right.
We do. Some coaches refuse to do that, but that's on them, and they figure it out. Everybody's different, does it their own way. But we work Christmas, we work New Year's, we work every day. We play on New Year's. Last year we played on Christmas Day. It's just the job. So I think my kids weren't cheated, trust me.
Wesley V with the hashtag #AskKampe. I noticed this year's game at LCA was not an Oakland home game, our intros, PA announcer, band, etc., as it was in the past. Was that change brought on by LCA, MSU, somebody else?
Yes, somebody else, Greg Kampe. I made that change. And I did it for two reasons, financial and also television. If we're the home team, ESPN has the rights for the game. And I can't get a guarantee that it's going to be on, then we don't have it on national TV. Because if ESPN decides, we're doing what Alabama,
UConn or whatever.
No, who played the football game at noon?
Texas A&M Miami.
Yeah, so we couldn't be on, right? They're doing football on that day now. That's the day of the playoffs. So we're playing on Saturday
at noon.
Yep. Well, it had to be at noon because the Pistons played in the evening.
Right.
So ESPN's doing
Texas
football,
Miami,
whatever game it was. I just told the Michigan State, I said, if you guys are the home team, then you get the thing. Now, I tried to get us to be able to still be involved in all that, but it ended up, they had their PA guy. It was fine. I mean, anybody who was at that game that didn't think that was a hell of a game and a hell of an atmosphere and was worried about, I know Kevin Beers would have loved to have done it, and I feel bad that he wasn't able to do it, and I know that, our scorers table people didn't get to do it, which I felt bad about that. But in the long run, the game wouldn't have been on national TV, so it was on national TV. And one of the reasons we play that game is for our brand. And on national TV, I think our brand came across pretty good.
Gary McCarrick, and this one came in late. It was an Ask Baru, actually. Said, we appreciate you. We're huge fans of you. What do people here assume about Australia that's way off? So I'll get an answer from Baru, Gary, in a little bit. And
the spiders aren't that bad.
He said the spiders aren't that bad. He says the spiders in Australia
You have
are not
spiders
that.
in Australia? Lots of them?
Hey, Baru, when you flush a toilet, does the water really go in the other direction? That's weird, man.
Are there pythons in the toilets? Snakes?
Will
Yeah,
a kangaroo box you? Like if you square up, would it like jump up and box you? It would.
So you're walking down the street and you see a kangaroo. Do you run the other way?
It's not like that. See, that's the other thing. It's like, you're not going to walk down the street and see a kangaroo. That's me.
Oh, I saw it on TV. It has to be true.
Like they're not hopping down the sidewalk or anything like that, or on the side of the road?
Do you give them names? Like my dog's name is Rookie?
There's a kangaroo at one of the zoos in Sydney. It's named Baru.
There's
Really?
a kangaroo named Baru. After you? We'll just say it was.
You get us to the national championship game and they'll name it after you for sure, okay?
All right. Thanks, Baru. Appreciate it. I told you, Baru's a good guy, man. I love Baru.
Snakes and ooh.
The water does go. That's weird.
I don't even know
man.
what you're talking about, but let's move on.
All right. Pittsburgh Marty. Coach Sean and I are looking forward to seeing you and the staff next week at Youngstown State to ring in the new year. Do you have a New Year's resolution in mind for 2026?
No, I don't do that. I don't. I've tried to do that, and I've never been able to. Have anybody in here ever done a New Year's resolution and kept it? I don't. I've never met a person in my life that said, I'm going to do this, and then they kept it. Anybody in here look at me and say they actually, no, you know.
Not one person. Okay.
Now, for me, during Lent, you give something up, and it's only 40 days, right?
Right.
So you can do that. New Year's resolution, I can't do that.
Last one I see here, also from Gary and McCarrick. With Fran McCaffrey at Penn, is there an opportunity to play at the Palestra, the Cathedral College basketball?
Let me tell you a story about Fran McCaffrey, okay? This is how good of a dude he is. A couple weeks ago, one of my former players has a son that's a really good player, and he's a high school kid, and he's battling depression. And out of nowhere, I guess he had heard Fran, because Fran's son had battled depression, and then he played at Iowa, and the fans, it wasn't a good thing, but he had heard Fran speak somewhere, and he sent me an email saying, is there any way you could connect me to Fran? Because I would love if he could talk my son and how to get through this. So I sent Fran, and I actually screenshotted the email and sent it to him, and I said, Fran, are you willing to do this? It was 5 minutes, and that was an email, right? 5 minutes, you're sure, I'll do it. He gave me his number. Well, I had his number, but he said, have him call this number. He goes, and if he calls me on this day, my son's going to be at my house. It was over Thanksgiving. And a week later, I hear back from my former player, and he said it was unbelievable. Just unbelievable. It's really helped his kid. And that just a kid from Oakland, a kid from the west side of Michigan, whose dad played at Oakland, and Fran did that. That's how good of a guy that guy is. So if he wants us to come to the Palestra, I'll be there in a minute. I played in the Palestra as a player, and it is something that it's very special. It's one of the most special places there is in the college world.
Yeah, we got to do the Palestra. We got to do Madison Square Garden.
We're not going to get in the Garden. I've tried. That ain't going to happen. Unless we get in the Big East, then maybe we can get done.
All right, Camp, Horizon League play at Wright State, at Youngstown State. There's an extra day off mixed in there. We'll be playing Wright State on Monday night at 7 o'clock. New Year's Day at 1 o'clock at Youngstown State. Your thoughts? We got a little bit longer of a road trip for this.
And then we come home to Robert Morris. So
Yep.
we play the. So I think right now the net, after the non-league season, the net, we're number 1. Wright State's number 2. Youngstown's number 3. And I think Robert Morris is number 4. And we got to go bam, bam, bam and play those things. Within the first 5 games of the league, we'll have played at Northern Kentucky, at Wright State, at Youngstown, and Robert Morris at home. So when you look at how hard our schedule was, and we talked about we got to embrace hard, that's one of the reasons we did it, because we had this league schedule. Our guys aren't afraid of anything. We'll play anywhere now. We've been to Mackey Arena. We've played in front of Houston. We've been there, and going to Wright State and going to Youngstown. Still going to be really, really hard. It's going to be really hard, but we're not scared of that, and we're ready for it. And those games are just, you can't put too much stock into them. It's one game, and it's one hurdle to clear, and if we clear it, then we'll have 3 in a row. And if we clear the next one, we'll have 4. If we knock one down, we'll have cleared 3 and lost and knocked one down. You don't start worrying about how many hurdles you've knocked down until you get into February, right? And you got to start looking at how do we get into the seeding of our postseason, have a home game and things like that. Are we going to win a championship? That all takes place in February. Right now, we're going to Wright State. We're ready to play. I really feel good about us.
What's your takeaway here as far as the Horizon League goes so far? Milwaukee and Oakland at the top at 2-0, and then Robert Morris, Youngstown, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Detroit Mercy all at 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's too early to really say on any of that. It's like I just said, it's way too early to. I know that Wright State's got a net of 146. There's a reason their net's that. Right. They must be good. They must have played well. They must statistically be good. And Youngstown's got. Well, I think Fort Wayne now has the best win in the league. Their win
at Notre Dame
Sunday is probably the best win in the league. But prior to that, Youngstown won it at Grand Canyon. And for those that don't know, Grand Canyon, I mean, they're a mid-major. They're going into the Mountain West next year. But, I mean, they sell out every night they play 8,000 people. And it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy there.
It's like half students, isn't it?
Yeah, Bryce Drew's the coach. You remember him from Valpo and Vanderbilt and that. He's got it really going on there, and Youngstown went there and won. And nobody goes there and wins. So they must be really good. I've watched them. I watched their Toledo game, but I haven't spent a lot of time on them. My whole focus right now is Wright State. That's the hurdle that's in front of us.
All right, Camp. Christmas is coming up. Final 2 minutes of the show here. Any tradition, any special thing that you do for Christmas? Any special food you eat, movie you watch, song you listen to, anything you got?
Well, it's funny because growing up, my parents, we always watched White Christmas on Christmas Eve. Bing Crosby.
Yep.
And I was playing cards today before I always go to this place and play cards before I come to this thing with some guys. And I looked up at the TV in there, and White Christmas was on. There was Bing Crosby. And I was like, oh, my God. I looked up and asked my mom and dad if they were watching because that was crazy to see. But, no, we didn't. Christmas is, a special time for everybody's family. And the thing I like about Christmas the most is the way everybody wants to, talk about it. They say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
I went and bought my lotto ticket today for the $1.8 billion, and the guy said Merry Christmas to me. I mean, I don't think he even spoke much English, but he said Merry Christmas. So, just how everybody celebrates, and people seem to like each other a lot during the holiday season. So that's what I like about it.
So when you win that, are we going to have the highest price recruiting class in the history of college sports?
Kentucky's $20 million team, that ain't going to be anything near our team.
I can't wait.
I might get Baru back here next year, they'll $10 million, I think he'd come back.
We'll see. We'll ask him after the show. All right, well, that will do it. And again, happy holidays to everybody out there. Thank you guys for coming out to the show every single week. Thousands of you at LCA this past weekend. We appreciate it. We absolutely do. So to you and yours, the best of holiday seasons. I hope you get everything you want, Camp, for Christmas, too.
I want one thing.
I know.
Clear that next hurdle.
Yep, clear that next hurdle. Bobby Elliman back in the Odyssey Studios. Appreciate your work. Yes.
My sister got me pajamas with Yogi's picture on them. It's the coolest thing I ever got. So I'm pajamas with my dog's face all over them, and dog bones all over, too. So I was thinking about taking a picture and tweeting it, but I didn't do it.
I think that's a good place to stop. All right, everybody, have a good Christmas. We will see you on the other side. No show next week, but we'll be back in the new year. For the Coach Greg Kampe, I'm Neil Rule. Thanks for listening, everybody, to the Greg Kampe Show live from Patti Finnegan's on the campus of Oakland University. See you later.